Today on the channel, I'm going to show you how to play Runnin' with the Devil. Alright, cool. So Runnin' with the Devil, we're going to take a look at that today off of Van Halen I. There's a lot of really cool guitar parts in this song. It's not all shredding, it's very melodic, Van Halen. And first and foremost, I'm playing this guitar on a homemade guitar that I made. I have a video up if you want more information on this guitar. It's called the Unshark. So what I did is I replicated Eddie's, tried to replicate Eddie's Shark guitar that you see on Women and Children First, but it doesn't have the chunk cut out of it, so I call it the Unshark. But I've got a video up regarding the kit that I bought for this guitar, and then another video regarding the building process. But I'm mentioning this guitar because Runnin' with the Devil and much of Van Halen I, especially all the rhythm guitar parts, were done, from what I've researched, they were done on Eddie's Ibanez Destroyer, which was a stop tailpiece guitar, and that was before he cut the chunk out of it. So I'm going to play this in this lesson today and have a little bit of fun with it just for visual purposes. And heck, this guitar sounds pretty awesome, so pretty happy with it. So Runnin' with the Devil. Runnin' with the Devil starts off with the classic horns descending in pitch and fades out. Sounds like a train coming at you, and then Mikey hits that. Right? So the first thing that you hear Eddie do is he rakes his pick over the strings. A lot of people think it's above the nut, but I don't think it's above the nut. I think that he took the pick and he did it behind the bridge like this. That's what it sounds like to me. So cool. And then we're going to take the song as an E. But Eddie has tuned down to almost E flat in this song. A lot of songs in the 70s, even the 80s, 60s, 70s especially, they weren't quite at E flat. If they tuned to E flat, they weren't quite on 440. I'm not sure if that's because they sped the tape up or they slowed the tape down, or Eddie was just picked his guitar up and whatever tuning it was in, Mikey tuned to it and they went with it. So that's all entirely possible. So in this song, what Eddie does is he goes from, it's going to have three main chords in the chorus, which is, that's a C to a D, up to an E, and he does the suspended. That's not how he plays it though, but that's what it sounds like. A lot of people play it like that, which that works, but what I hear Eddie doing on the record is he takes his index finger and he's playing on the 5th fret, and he plays the B, G, and the D strings like this. Like that. You can hear a little bit of that. You can hear that major third in there. I've tuned my B string down just a little bit because otherwise it'll sound out of tune. The intonation on the guitar isn't perfect. So I believe Eddie tuned that B string down just a little tiny bit to get that major third to sound really nice and perfect. So what he does, you hear Mikey go. So 5th fret to 7th fret, he does a little scrape, which is he's holding his fingers on the strings like this. So it sounds like that, and he goes. And what he's doing there is he's taking this D, and it's like you're going, like Start Me Up by the Stones. So he goes, and then he slides that same shape up to this E shape, and he lets go. So there's a lot going on there. You've got to pay attention to what you're picking and what you're releasing without picking. So he hammers on. And then he slides. Maybe put a little vibrato in there. So there's your chorus. So every time Eddie does that chorus, you got to be real consistent with that. Then he rolls back on the volume. Eddie was classic about rolling back on the volume. When you use those old Marshall Plexis, they cleaned up really nice, so you could roll back, and as many of you seen on my previous lessons, I talk about this every lesson, roll that volume back really far, and you get that nice clean sound. In full volume, it sounds like you bring it back. So as he finishes that phrase, he grabs his volume and rolls back. So I was sliding and rolling back, and then he goes. So what I did right there is an A chord, and I went to a G. It's kind of like going, all right, like You Really Got Me, but it goes. And I'm muting the strings after I hit that A. That way you can hear that echo, and it gives space. And in a three-piece band, creating that space is important because it allows the drums to be heard. It gives the vocalist room to sing, and you can hear what the bass player's doing. So what he's doing there, he's taking a G chord, but he's playing the D and the G string. He's playing the 5th and the 4th fret right there. 5th fret D, 4th fret G. It's the middle voicings of this G chord. And he's got an A on the bass. So Eddie loves pedal tones. I've talked about that in my lessons a lot. A pedal tone is where you've got one note, and then you play chords over that note. So he does a pedal tone. He goes. So what I'm doing there is. That second chord is the A on the bass, and then the 4th fret on the D string, and the 2nd fret on the G string. So an F sharp and an A, which is like a D chord with an A bass. And then I play just the E. And I'm playing open A, open D, and open B with that E. Dave singing, I live my life like there's no tomorrow. All I got, I had to steal. Beg or borrow. and then we end the verse on an E. You can just hit a low E note or play part of the E chord. So all right, so that's the verse. So now you know the verse and the chorus. The chorus comes in right after that. Roll the volume all the way back up. All right, so on the first verse, Eddie does a little bit of a harmonic thing in there, just to show you what that harmonic thing is. He goes. So natural harmonics can be found easiest on the 5th, 7th, and 12th frets. And since this song is an open E, the 5th, 7th, and 12th harmonics work the best in that key. So at one point he goes. So he's just going on the 2 middle strings, the D and the G string on the 7th fret, and then on the 5th fret he goes D, G, B. All right, and then the next time they hit the verse, he goes. He does a little trill from a D to an E. So G string 7th and G string 9th. Those are the little Eddie things that make it sound like Van Halen. I mean, anybody can play these chords, but if you do that, and he rakes into it, he goes. So he's got his hands muting the strings. That's a very Eddie Van Halen thing to do. Cool. So the solo goes. So based on what I hear, and I've listened to this, thousands of times, just like everybody else, and I've looked at different ways guys play it, and Eddie plays it, and the best way I can come up with playing this is doing this on the 12th or the 14th fret. So I hear one extra note in there, and it always confused me, but when I was younger. But this is what I think Eddie's doing. So he's playing an A down to a G. So on that chorus, what I'm doing there, and I'll put the tab on the screen. He plays this C sharp on the B string 14th fret twice. Up to speed. And then he does the same pattern down on the 12th fret. Okay, so once again. And then he goes. So what he does there is he goes. So right up that same note that we just did the first phrase on the solo. 14th fret, A chord, and then he takes the 17th fret. My guitar's not playing very good. Sorry about that, my action's a little too low. So he's bending that up one step on the 17th fret and back down to the 17th fret. And then, so that last part is so from the beginning, slowly. And then back to. And that's it. That's Runnin' with the Devil. It's basically got two parts. It's got the verse part, the chorus part, and then when they do the solo, they do that arpeggiating the A and the G, just like we showed you there. And that's the whole song, other than those things throughout. So happy playing. I hope this helps and gives you a little bit more of an insightful look on what Eddie does and his playing style. So if you like this video, please subscribe, please like, please comment below. I appreciate you checking the video out. It certainly helps me, and I will see you next time. Thanks.